Wait, Ben, what has been going on with you? I heard Grace was saying you were in jail for a period of time.
Yeah,
What's
I
going
was in
on?
jail.
How was
12
it?
days for going for a walk with my daughter.
So where you at right now with your whole legal shit?
Yeah,
Damn.
so they ended up doing like at the end of 12 days in prison, like I got to admit, like I would have sucked a dick to get out of there. So
Ugh.
whatever the deal they gave me, I took it. And it's not bad. It's like a year of filing, which means
Damn.
like I can't, have any further legal trouble, or they'll bring it back out of the docket. But jail wasn't that bad. It's just like a form of torture, you know what I mean? And
Oh my god.
especially where I was in, they call it intake. So anyone who was in there who was denied bail, because I technically violated my bail, but it could have been
Yeah.
like there were also people who were in there because they didn't want them in society until the trial. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
some of these people could have been like multiple murderers. So it's
Yeah,
kind of
if
scary.
if they deny someone bail, then they gotta have done something real bad.
That's
Because
crazy.
they typically give most people bail unless they're like murderers. What
Really?
so
Yeah, or
what
unless you break bail, which is my thing, which is then it's not as serious, but like they're not going to give you bail again.
wait, so what's the deal? Are you not allowed to
And how do you
like
break bail?
hang out with Grace for like a year, or what's the
Yeah,
where
on
you at now?
paper it's a year, but what they do is you have to take these ridiculous like domestic violence classes. And so if you take like 3 of them and you kind of go like, yeah, I've learned my lesson, whatever, in court they'll usually drop it.
But how does it work since you guys live together? Like, how are you supposed to not hang out?
Oh, I'm homeless right now.
You're homeless?
Yeah.
You're homeless?
Holy
Wait, don't you have a house? I thought you had a house.
Is he
Yeah,
not
we
allowed
have
in the
2.
house?
We're renting like 4 places, but 2 of them are
Uh-huh.
residences, but the cops are so crazy. Even though our residences are not like the same, they're in the same building. But the cops came in while I was gone and tried to like raid the building and search it to see if I was there, which is crazy because if I was there, what's the big deal if I'm in my place and she's in her place? But they're crazy. I mean,
That is kind of nuts.
they
No,
tell you
yeah.
like, they tell you like no contact. But like for example,
Oh.
let's say she was chatting on this channel and I'm on this channel. Is that contact? I don't know. You know what I
By
mean? They don't tell
proxy,
you. They're
maybe,
just
but
like,
I don't
if you
know.
ask them, they go, don't do it. And I go, well, I mean, can you tell me what not to do? And they're like, just don't do it. You know what I mean?
It is a really odd situation. So where are you sleeping now? Like, where do you sleep at night?
Yeah, I'm curious about
I
that.
actually can't just, I normally like cam up and everything, but like, I can't disclose that because I think people put trackers on our vehicles. That's how we got, I don't know if I'm paranoid or what, but like I got
Holy
stopped
shit.
with her in the middle of nowhere. There was like only 3 houses between us and like the woods that we were going to talk in, go for a walk in because I could talk to her. And somehow the cops were called, in the middle of nowhere. And,
Holy fuck.
so I'm laying real low.
But
You have like FBI after
you're
you,
like
so-
somewhere safe indoors. I'm assuming since you're able to stream.
I'm in an okay place. I'm not like in the woods, right? Yeah.
Okay, you're not like living under a
I was
box or
like
something.
wondering if somebody hired like a PI against Ben. Like, is that how like they know? I was like, call
No,
a
I don't
cop.
think. I don't
These
No, I'm
think.
people. I
just
mean,
thinking like,
this is
how the
something
hell
that
did they know? Like, what the
right. I don't know. And online people claimed it. So I'm like, well, they must have hacked our phones or put trackers on the van,
Holy shit.
And this is the funny thing about it. It was organized. A guy from Texas rented a house in Rhode Island so that he could plot with my son and his mother how to get me thrown in jail
The fuck?
over the course of like a week. Is that fucking fucked up?
That's kind of crazy.
I
Shit.
mean, honestly, like pretty much everything about your family situation is unusual. Like the fact that you have a son and ex-wife who are plotting against you
Yeah.
is in of itself unusual.
I mean, it sounds like a reality TV series.
I mean, okay, yeah,
life.
it really does sound like a reality TV series. Honestly.
Yeah, no,
Like,
it's
holy
great.
You should sell
shit.
this. You should sell this to Netflix.
Ben Thorp is famous now.
No,
Like,
and then
I guess
and then Grace was streaming.
I was gonna say here's like my take. Like I do agree the whole thing is like ridiculous. Like she's not pressing charges. There's no like actual. It doesn't seem like there's any actual damages. Like
Yeah.
I don't see the point of like the whatever. Yeah, police comes, they double check. That's fine. But like I don't see the point of like throwing you in jail and doing all this extra shit. So that part is odd. It's not like she has like severe physical damage. It's not like
No, it
she's
was
No, no,
claiming
just
no.
she's a
like
victim. Yeah,
No,
so
and
I
I
do.
know it looks bad, like out of context. Like I wouldn't defend like that type of behavior. It was an extreme situation. It's a borderline case of where like it might be morally wrong, but the idea of like jail makes sense is crazy. It's just
Well,
out of
that's what
proportion.
I was going to ask you. I did watch that video.
yeah.
Like, what? Okay, Grace claims that it was a joke. It didn't seem like a joke to
No,
me.
no,
What
no,
was?
no, no, no. I mean, I think what
So it
she
was
meant
that
was like
kick that
it was a
landed you all that, like the
what she
charges
meant.
and
What she
stuff.
should have said is like it's what was done for drama. And we've done that before. There's been like some like minor violence in earlier streams. She did that whole thing with this guy Darius where he slapped her in the face. She burned his clothes.
Oh, I
He
heard about that.
slapped her in the
Yeah.
face.
Wait,
And
so
those were
this
more overt
Darius
hits,
was
but
the black guy when they were chilling with Spicoli, and Darius was in the hotel or whatever. Yeah, that was
yeah,
wait,
and
so
they were a little more careful about like him saying like, "Do you consent to this?" and that kind of stuff. But I'm not going
uh-huh.
to say it was like a pure bit. But like when Darius slapped her, he slapped her hard, and
Oh
her ears
shit!
were ringing. So it was like real
Damn!
violence, way more
Holy
than the
fuck!
kick I gave her. But
Yeah,
we
damn.
play it up for drama to some degree. To some degree, I would say it's really stupid to do that on camera. But in another way, like it got us a lot of attention. But
Holy
not
and I
shit!
have some
not
interesting jail
not
stories. I can do the jail to
Yeah,
YouTube
not good attention,
pipeline
Alex.
now.
not good
But
attention. Wait, so
but
are you saying the kick was pre-planned?
no, not in that
Did she
sense.
know
But like
you were gonna do that?
Yeah, like what do you mean when you say you played it up for drama?
so like there have been like sometimes she'll cry on camera, and she knows she's on camera, so she plays it up. Sometimes I'll like go on a rant towards her, like kind of this, like kind of get mad at her. And we know that to some degree it's on, what I mean? You're aware of the camera and you're playing up for drama. Uh, I thought the cops, when people started saying like, well, we're sending the cops after you, I did think the cops were going to come in, but I actually know the law, and the law states that you have to have either serious injury or like a real fear of like serious bodily harm or
Yeah,
death,
that is true.
and that wasn't met, so they unlawfully arrested me. But we rode the line, and these people, they a lot of times the cops now, especially like up here in the Northeast, they err on the side of caution, and like this extreme shit, which is a problem. That's actually what I wanted to debate that guy Speakeasy about on your channel about, because I think you could say like a lot of these domestic violence laws, when they get played out, they actually really harm people. Like, so the idea that if I had a mental problem, it's going to be good for me to be homeless now and have people hunting me. If I was mentally
Hmm.
ill, it would make me crazy and likely to do something crazy. It's not helpful to a situation.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. But going back to the
Yeah.
incident, so what was exactly like? What was like? Why did you kick her? What was the reason? Like,
Yeah, what was the
what, what,
motivation behind that?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
frustrated you in that moment? Because it
It
seemed like it was really confusing. Because it
yeah,
seemed,
yeah, I agree with you. It had been a culmination of like 5.5 years of both her mother, which is not fair that that it went on her, but then for like 6 months, she had been like doing what her mother did, which is act like a victim, act scared, act like she's all this shit. Which, and then off screen it was even crazier. It was like 24 hours a day. This kind of like uh this victim mentality. I was like, Grace, if you're afraid of me, leave. You know what I mean? But it was like just this kind of thing that she was like, I'm sorry, I do this, and you know what I mean. So it was like, it's like she was just taunting me, and I had said to her, get away from me, spend some time alone, go away. And she was like, no, I want to be here, I want to be here, I want to be here. And it was just she was in my space. She had her own apartment. She was like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a thing that sometimes women get when they're traumatized, and they can act crazy. And I do think sometimes when women act crazy, even if it's your own daughter, even especially if you love her very much, you can sometimes they I hate to say it, but sometimes a bitch needs a slap. You know what I mean? Sometimes. So I want
okay.
In reference to Grace.
I was nodding along up until the
not a
very last
punch,
thing you
not
said.
a
Yeah, I
punch,
was like, should
but a
I say
slap,
something?
a
Yeah, I
slap.
probably should say something.
No on that one, but
I can't tell
uh,
if Ben's like serious
so
or He's playing his
So
character.
okay, so you're saying you were like kind of frustrated because she was like
I mean, I couldn't even tell you the shit she was
trying to
pulling
provoke you.
in the
Okay.
2 days prior to that. I mean, it was super duper crazy. I can't go into the details, but it was like
Damn.
Okay.
there was like
I'll
life and
just
death. There was
I'll
like
just
life and death shit that had happened,
okay.
and like
I'll just take your word for that. But
Life and
okay,
death.
so
Yeah, I mean,
here's the part
okay.
that kind of like perplexed me is the crying seems very real. Grace is
yeah,
either a really good actress that she can cry on command, but most people cannot do that. I
no,
know
no,
she
yeah.
doesn't. So like, how was she like how like if it was like not that serious, like how was she able to start crying?
Yeah, but if you notice the crying, it was somewhat genuine. But she's aware of the camera, but it was frustration with the situation. She wasn't crying because she was injured.
Mm.
She was just crying because, I think she realized she had pushed me.